The day of the 2014 Boston Marathon could not have been more beautiful. The cheers were a little louder and the smiles a little wider as this year's race connected runners and spectators alike, stronger than ever before. Boston Strong, the iconic words that dominated the media over the past year following the tragic bombings, was displayed proudly that day through shirts, signs, and spirits. It was impossible to escape its effect. Kelsey Buckley, a close friend of Christopher Dobbins, who co-founded the Boston Strong campaign last year, talks about the way the slogan has affected her.
I was there when they came up with this idea, and it really what made me realize something about myself is I think we all learned a lot about ourselves when we were so close to a terrorist attack, was that I was so pessimistic, where I was like, we can't do anything. What do you mean, Chris? You want to make a t-shirt? What good is that going to do? We can't raise money to solve this problem. We can't throw money at this and have it go away. And it wasn't just about the money, which is what I now understand. It was about people also wanting to feel like they could do something because they felt so powerless. And so even if it was just buying a $20 t-shirt, that still felt like something.
An influential campaign that immediately went viral, Boston Strong has received its fair share of controversial commentary circling around its overemphasis on a single tragedy among many. Linda Coy, a financial writer at Natixis Global Asset Management and a proud Bostonian runner in this year's race, responds to the criticisms Boston Strong has received.
I can see people's point that it was overplayed. I think the media overplays a lot of the hype. It makes it, that one single topic repeated over and over, and, it could feel like, to a lot of people who aren't Bostonians, even people who live out in the burbs, they were like, yeah, just can't wait till this is over, and I'm so sick of hearing about Boston Strong. But I think I can respect their views, but also because I lived in Boston and I heard the bombs and I saw people running down the street, and so emotionally it really hit home, and I don't think they feel that impact that people who live and work in the city felt. So sorry about that.
Coy and Buckley speak to how Boston Strong was what resonated with everyone that day, encouraging spectators to keep cheering and pushing runners to keep going through the race as they did through the difficult year.
Keep it going, keep it going.
And it was an incredibly tough year. I was actually sitting in this room when the bombs went off, and I remember hearing them and thinking, oh my God, what the heck? It just didn't sound like a regular explosion. So this past year has been pretty traumatic. Just to walk up Boylston Street, it's been really tough. You see, all the visions just go through your mind of that Martin Richards, the little 8-year-old boy, just in his big blue eyes, always is with me. And it was with me every step of the way during the 26.2 miles, and to be out there and to be able to, support Boston Strong and just be there in his memory and the other two women who also lost their lives. It just made it so much more than just a marathon.
Just walking down the street, it was so nice. And at times it was overwhelming because there were just so many people, and it all the sights, sound, and smells were so similar to last year, to the point where it was hard to not think about it. But at the same time, it was really powerful. I went to Heartbreak Hill to see my friends who were running, and they started crying when they saw us, and they looked so good. I was so worried that they were going to be falling apart, which would, just be unfortunate for such a day that's supposed to be about restoration and hope. But they looked amazing.
For Coy, running alongside other runners, the finish line was where it all came together.
The big thing when you're coming down Boylston Street, usually you're just looking at that finish line and you're saying, yeah, I made it. But this year, because of what happened last year, right at the finish line, and I was, you know, it was a passing where people were blown up. That was really, really emotional, and I started to cry right in front of like where the forum was, and just like, you know, it was just tears of joy and also tears of sorrow, and just like I was so happy I was able to accomplish what I set out to do and finish strong.
The strong support and powerful sense of community felt on this day is an encouragement to continue the Boston Strong conversation far past last year's tragedy. For JR103, I'm Nancy Valev.